So here we are in the final video of Module 4, the case of the disappearing T. This video I will show you had not, hadn't, and hadn. Let's go. Let's go slow and explain very slowly and clearly what I mean with the verb have. Look at these two sentences. I have time today. I have done it. What is the difference between time and done? Pause the video and think. Pause now, think. What kind of word is it? Time and done. Because here, time is a noun. It's a thing. It's an object or possession, right? Done is part of a verb, okay? So, when we have the basic system of English, you have the present tense, you have do, see, buy. The past is did, saw, bought. And the final box, the third box, the past participle, is words like done, seen, bought, and tried. Okay? Now, when we have the verb have with a noun like time, you can see here that the positive is I have time. Negatives, I don't have time, or I don't have time. And the question is, do I have time? This is the important part, that when we look at the verb have, what is after? When we have a noun after, we need to put the verb do in do not, don't, etc. Do I have time for questions, okay? Because here, if we have and the verb, have is now an auxiliary verb, and you can see you have done it, okay? You have not done it. Here is where it is different. You have not done it, and then have you done it? So sometimes have is a main verb with don't, do, does, etc., like a do verb, and sometimes it is like a modal verb. How do we know? We look after have and we check. We see, is it a noun or is it a verb? This is the basic idea of how do we decide. So this is in the present tense. And if we look in the past tense, which we had plus a noun, I had time, I didn't have time, or I didn't have time, and did I have time? So after had is a noun, and here now after had is a verb. So the negative is like a modal verb, like a be verb. You had done it, you had not done it, or you hadn't done it, or had you done it. So this is what we are interested here, as in when do we use this had plus a verb? We use this basically when we have two events in the past and we are not sure which event happened first. So consider here, I was tired because I had worked a lot. What is the connection? Was tired, had worked a lot. Which happened first? Because if you say I was tired, I worked a lot, I was tired, I worked a lot, and not I was tired because I had worked a lot. Now, it's not so clear when. This is the idea. So if we have two events, which happened first, here, I had worked a lot happened first. On this big line here, on our left is going to be the beginning, the start. And after, the consequence or the connection is I was tired. Do you see? So one more example. She had not called because she was very busy. So two ideas, two events in the past, but which happened first or which did not happen first? But what's the connection? Here it is an explanation. She had not called because she was very busy. But the idea that she had not called is in a time before this year, as in which happened first. So this basic idea, okay? Now our pronunciation part is had not to hadn't and to hadn. So the same N of wasn't, weren't, hadn't. The T is silent, okay? So let's start our practice. Now remember, the pronunciation is hadn. The T sound is hadn. Just like wasn't, weren't, and hadn't, and couldn't, and shouldn't. The strong N sound, okay? So always remember, pause, listen, and repeat, and train, okay? I had not thought of that. I hadn't thought of that. And finally, I hadn't thought. So the A was I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought of that. Hadn't thought of that. My phone was not working because I had not charged the battery. My phone was not working because I had not charged the battery. My phone wasn't working because I hadn't charged the battery. My phone wasn't working because I hadn't charged the battery. So my phone wasn't working because I hadn't charged the battery. My phone wasn't working because I hadn't charged the battery. She did not pass the test because she had not studied. She didn't pass the test because she hadn't studied. So she didn't pass the test because she hadn't studied. She didn't pass the test. She didn't pass the test because she hadn't studied. So she didn't pass the test because she hadn't studied. He was really late for work because he had not set his alarm. He was really late for work because he hadn't set his alarm. He was really late for work cause he, so for work. He was really late for work cause he hadn't set his alarm. Because he hadn't set his alarm. He was really late for work because he hadn't set his alarm. I saw that my brother had not remembered to buy me credit for my phone. I saw that my brother hadn't remembered to buy me credit for my phone. I saw my brother hadn't remembered to buy me credit for my phone. So for my phone. I saw that my brother hadn't remembered to buy me credit for my phone. So this brings us to the end of module 4. I hope you enjoyed it. Please see me in the next module, module 5, when I will talk about have to, obligations, and have to. See you there.